Hey adventurers, narwhals face extinction as oceans warm fast. Can Inuit hunts survive? Join us to explore tradition versus industry in Arctic and Atlantic waters. Narwhals inhabit the Arctic waters of Canada, Greenland and Russia. They dive up to 1,500 meters to feed on fish and squid. Their spiral tusks, unique to males, act as sensitive tools, detecting changes in temperature, salinity and pressure. These creatures supply 20 to 30% of East Greenland's meat, critical for food security in remote communities. Climate change disrupts this balance. Oceans warm 4 times faster than the global average, altering fjord ecosystems. Rising temperatures stress narwhal genetics, reducing population resilience. By 2100, their habitats could shrink by 25% per recent studies. Increased ship traffic generates noise, interfering with narwhal communication calls. Melting sea ice opens pathways for invasive species like killer whales, which prey on narwhals. These combined pressures threaten their survival, challenging Inuit reliance on this resource. Inuit hunters prepare meticulously for summer narwhal hunts. They construct kayaks from sealskin, stretched over wooden frames, ensuring lightweight, silent movement. Harpoons are crafted with care shafts made from driftwood or bone, tipped with sharpened steel or carved bone for precision. Floats, often made from inflated sealskin, are attached to harpoons to track struck narwhals. In East Greenland, NAMCA sets a 2025 quota of 50 narwhals to balance sustainability. This limit counters a 30% extinction risk, projected to hit 74% by 2028 without stricter controls. Hunters begin by scouting fjords using traditional knowledge to interpret wind patterns, water currents, and narwhal vocalizations, distinct clicks audible through water. The hunt requires patience, often lasting hours or days in freezing conditions. Hunters work in small teams, coordinating to approach paths quietly. A lead hunter throws the harpoon, aiming for a clean strike to minimize waste. Floats keep the narwhal buoyant, allowing teams to haul it to shore. The process demands physical endurance and deep cultural respect, rooted in 4,000 years of tradition. Processing starts immediately on shore. Communities use sharp ulu knives to process the narwhal efficiently. Muktuk, the skin and blubber layer, is sliced into strips, providing vitamin C to prevent scurvy in Arctic diets. Meat is cut for protein-rich meals preserved by drying or freezing. Blubber is rendered into oil for cooking or lamp fuel, vital in harsh winters. Bones are shaped into tools like knives or needles. Sinew is dried into strong thread for sewing. This zero-waste approach maximizes the narwhal's value. WWF commends Inuit methods as sustainable, noting minimal environmental impact. However, climate change raises hunt failure rates by 20% as thinning ice disrupts narwhal migration routes. What's your take on these sustainable practices? Drop your thoughts in the comments. In the North Atlantic, EU trawlers harvest fish on a massive scale. They deploy sonar systems to pinpoint dense fish schools like blue whiting and mackerel. Giant nets spanning hundreds of meters sweep the ocean, capturing tons in single hauls. Vessels are equipped with on-board processing units to freeze or fillet catches. Instantly. For 2026, ICES mandates sharp quota cuts. Blue whiting limited to 851,344 tons, down 41%, and mackerel reduced by 70% to rebuild stocks. Overfishing affects 50% of Northeast Atlantic fish populations, with catches exceeding scientific advice by 33%. Trawler crews prepare rigorously, inspecting nets and calibrating sonar before multi-week trips. These industrial methods prioritize efficiency but strain ecosystems, contrasting with Inuit precision. Share your thoughts on balancing efficiency and sustainability in the comments. Inuit hunts rely on strict quotas, keeping narwhal populations viable. Kosowik rates them stable but vulnerable due to climate pressures. EU trawlers face challenges with 35.5% of global fish stocks overfished per FAO data. Warming seas shift narwhal migrations 15 to 20% annually, complicating hunts. ICES predicts EU stock recovery by 2030 if quotas hold. But overfishing risks persist. NAMCO projects stable Inuit harvests if climate measures strengthen. Like reducing Arctic shipping noise, WWF urges global adherence to quotas for ocean health. The future hinges on collective action. How can we ensure sustainable seas? Comment your ideas. Narwhal hunts and trawler hauls face climate threats. Sustainable practices offer hope. Support WWF's quotas to stabilize fisheries. Choose MSC-certified seafood to aid recovery. Narwhals drive conservation lessons to protect them, to preserve Inuit traditions and our oceans. Subscribe, comment on your favorite sea creature. Tag a friend to spread this story. What's one step you'll take to save our seas? Act now.
When it comes to pig diseases in China, the most prominent is African swine fever (ASF). ASF was first detected in China in 2018 and quickly spread throughout the country. It is an acute infectious disease, often causing high mortality in pigs. This disease causes many lesions in internal organs, especially the vascular system, liver, spleen, and lymph nodes. The clinical manifestations of pigs with ASF are often very diverse and can vary depending on age, virus strain, and rearing conditions. Usually when infected, the pig's body temperature suddenly increases to 40 to 42 degrees C. Pigs stop eating and drinking, lie in one place, and move little. The skin on the ears, abdomen, and legs may appear purple or red. Hemorrhagic spots appear under the skin, in the mucous membranes of the mouth, nose, and anus. However, a worrying thing is that not all sick pigs have all of the above symptoms. And what is more dangerous is that ASF can progress very quickly. Pigs can die in just a few days. The mortality rate of pigs infected with ASF is very high, up to 100%. Although harmless to humans, it is estimated that in 2018, African swine fever caused damage to hundreds of thousands of households and pig farms. About 200,000 pigs died or were destroyed. The total damage caused by this disease continues to increase and seriously affects the domestic and export pork markets. Second on the list of common diseases in pigs is blue ear disease. This is an acute infectious disease in pigs, caused by a virus. This disease often damages the skin, mucous membranes, and respiratory system of pigs, greatly affecting the health and productivity of the herd. The disease has symptoms quite similar to African swine fever, so it is difficult to distinguish. However, blue ear disease in pigs causes a lower mortality rate in pigs, only from 30 to 70% of the total number of infected pigs. And in particular, the disease can be transmitted to humans through direct contact or through the air. Although there is now a vaccine to prevent this disease, the damage it causes in China is huge. The supply to food factories is limited, causing economic damage to the domestic and export pork markets. The third major issue is PRRS, or porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome. This severe infectious disease spreads quickly and leads to high mortality rates among pigs, resulting in significant losses for the pig farming industry. Caused by the PRRS virus PRRSV, which belongs to the Artaviridae family and has a positive single-stranded RNA genome, this virus rapidly replicates in macrophages, especially in the lungs. PRRS affects sows' mating success, causing miscarriages and premature births, while also increasing piglet mortality and slowing pig growth rates. In research conducted in China, around 70% of sows tested were found to be infected, highlighting the high risk of transmission. The virus spreads through direct contact between sick and healthy pigs, as well as through infected boars' semen and the respiratory tract. Don't forget to share this video before continuing to learn more about pig diseases. Swine erysipelas is an acute infectious disease in China caused by the bacterium Pasteurella multocida. The disease affects many organ systems of pigs, causing severe symptoms and high mortality. Pasteurella multocida is the main causative agent of the disease. This bacterium often lives as a parasite in the upper respiratory tract of pigs and causes disease when the pig's resistance is reduced. They cause high fever, lethargy, anorexia, difficulty breathing, subcutaneous hemorrhage, especially in the ears, abdomen, legs, or arthritis, pneumonia, abscesses of internal organs. Swine erysipelas cause high mortality in pigs and sows, reduces productivity, and causes economic losses. It seriously affects the output of food factories in China. In addition to the above diseases, pigs in China also face many other diseases, which greatly affect production and the economy. We can list for you some diseases of the digestive tract, diarrhea or parasitic diseases. They reduce growth rate, increase mortality rate, leading to a decrease in pork production in food factories in China. Moreover, diseases increase production costs of farms, incurring costs for treatment, disease prevention, and livestock culling. In addition, diseases affect food security, shortage of supply and products of food factories. This creates a pork fever, pushing up pork prices, leading to crisis and inflation in China. In China, managing and destroying diseased pigs involves a detailed process to curb the spread of infection and safeguard public health. Once a pig is diagnosed with a disease, it is promptly isolated to prevent contact with healthy animals. The carcass is then transported to a designated disposal site under strict biosecurity protocols. At the disposal facility, the pig is either incinerated, buried in a concentrated pit, or subjected to electrical treatment, which uses high-voltage currents to ensure the complete destruction of pathogens. The disposal area is thoroughly disinfected to eliminate any residual disease agents. Personnel involved in this process wear protective gear and adhere to strict hygiene practices to avoid contamination. This rigorous approach helps to mitigate the impact of disease outbreaks on the pig farming industry and surrounding environment. Do you know of any other treatment or disposal methods for sick pigs? Leave us a comment in the comment section of this video. To prevent disease outbreaks on pig farms, implementing strong biosecurity measures is essential. Farmers should establish strict hygiene protocols, including regular disinfection of facilities and equipment, ensuring that all employees wear protective clothing and follow hygiene measures. Quarantine new or imported pigs for signs of disease before introducing them into the herd. Maintain appropriate waste management measures to minimize exposure to pathogens. Additionally, controlling visitor access and limiting contact between farm animals and wild animals can further reduce the risk of disease. Regular health checks and vaccination of pigs are also important for early detection and prevention of disease. In summary, the impact of the epidemic on pig farms and food plants in China is very serious. We hope that through this video, viewers will see a part of the severity of the epidemic and the need for preventive measures for their pigs. Trending Farm's farming documentary begins with the process of transporting pigs to the plant. With careful planning, the animals are ensured to arrive safely and in the best possible condition. Pigs are typically transported in specialized trucks equipped with ventilation systems and non-slip floors to prevent injury. You can see in this farming documentary the operations that go into preparing for animal transport at advanced pork processing plants in Iowa and Minnesota. Pigs are scheduled from farm to plant between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. to ensure minimal stress during the cool morning hours. Advanced methods of transporting pigs include adjustable ram systems for easy loading and unloading, temperature-controlled trailers, and frequent water breaks during long trips. Meanwhile, transporters are reminded to keep noise levels low, drive carefully to avoid sudden stops, and monitor pigs closely for signs of stress. Minimizing animal distress is important for ethical and meat quality reasons. The pork processing process at a modern plant involves multiple stages, each designed to maximize efficiency while maintaining high safety and hygiene standards. Upon arrival, pigs are stunned using electricity or CO2 to ensure these are separated by hand and automated machines. Advanced technology at some plants allows processing speeds of up to 600 pigs per hour, ensuring high productivity while maintaining product quality. Finally, the pork is vacuum packed to ensure that no impurities or bacteria can affect the quality of the meat before being shipped to consumers or customers. Want to learn more about the U.S. pork or processing industry? Leave a comment below this farming documentary to get feedback from Trending Farm. How is the transportation and processing of cows different from pigs? Can plants continue to process beef using the same machinery as pigs? Find out in the next installment of Trending Farm's farming documentary. We explore starting with the process of transporting cattle to the processing plant. Transport trucks, often equipped with non-slip floors and partitions, are inspected to ensure safety and hygiene standards. Each truck can carry 20 to 30 cows, depending on size, and has a ventilation system to maintain a comfortable temperature during transport. During loading, ramps with an incline of no more than 20 degrees are used to prevent injuries. The journey itself involves regular checks, and drivers are instructed to maintain a steady speed, avoiding sharp turns or sudden stops. Depending on the distance, cows are given water breaks every 4 to 6 hours. Upon arrival, the cattle are carefully unloaded over a 30 to 45-minute period, using calm handling techniques to minimize stress during the move. Overall, the transport of cattle is an important aspect of the livestock industry. It requires careful planning, compliance with regulations, and a commitment to animal welfare to ensure the safe and humane movement of these animals. Upon arrival at the processing plant, the cows are rested in a staging area before being processed. A worker guides them one by one into the plant along a fixed path. The cows are humanely processed using specialized tools or a modern cattle anesthetic box, reducing pain and trauma for both the animal and the handler. Next, the side walls of the box open and the carcass drops onto a receiving table, where it can then be easily moved around the workspace using metal straps, elevators, and rails. The semi-automatic skinning process using a pneumatic lift and skinner will be shown in the next few minutes. Click like on the farming documentary and don't leave the screen. During the beef processing, after being humanely treated, the cow carcass will move to the hair removal stage. Skilled workers use the world's #1 skinning tool for cattle to remove the skin perfectly instead of having to soak the cow carcass in hot water at 58 to 62 degrees Celsius for 5 to 7 minutes as before. The tool does not create cuts, marks, or holes. The cow's organs are removed and transferred to another processing area in the factory. We will provide footage of cattle organ processing in a more specialized farming documentary. Remember to watch the video at 2 fixed times on Trending Farm. Back at the beef processing plant in the United States, the cow carcass is washed to remove dirt and impurities, then transferred to cold storage before going to the semi-automatic sorting area of skilled workers in the factory. Horizontal and vertical lines for deboning and trimming beef halves or quarters for large, medium, and small capacity enterprises. The deboning and trimming lines can be equipped with specialized tools and hooks. The facility is equipped with deboning conveyors, deboning tables, trolleys, containers, tubs, hangers for various purposes, ensuring the separation and division of beef between areas is carried out evenly and most conveniently. On average, about 40 to 45% of the weight of a beef carcass is boneless meat. Next, the meat is divided into sections, often using advanced cutting machines to divide meat parts such as brisket, ribs, and shoulders into uniform sizes. This ensures uniformity, with the portioning speed being up to 60 per hour in modern facilities, preparing the meat for packaging and distribution. Have you noticed the difference between the cutting of pork and beef in the factory? Leave a comment below the farming documentary and let's discuss it. We want to show you clear data charts illustrating how meat consumption in the US has changed over time. From 1999 to 2020, the average per capita meat consumption was 252 pounds. From 1999 to 2006, it remained stable at just over 250 pounds, but dropped to 235 pounds by 2014. Consumption rose again, reaching 264 pounds in 2020. There has also been a shift, with beef consumption surpassing chicken and pork in 1999, but this has changed in recent years. Both the UN and US government are encouraging reduced meat consumption and more plant-based diets for sustainability. Hello, loyal Trending Farm viewers. Chinese farmers are increasingly choosing to invest in porcupine farming due to the high market demand for porcupine meat, which is considered a delicacy in some regions, and the low maintenance costs of the animals compared to traditional farming. Setting up a porcupine farm typically requires an investment of between $10,000 and $50,000, depending on the scale and size of the operation. Essential facilities include spacious enclosures that mimic their natural habitat, providing enough space for foraging, as porcupines are solitary and need space to roam. In addition, farms need specific equipment such as sturdy fences to accommodate the porcupine's instinctive behaviors and ensure their well-being. According to recent reports, there are more than 500 porcupine farms across China, with market trends showing steady growth in demand, leading to a more competitive landscape. This fascinating story will be explored further in our upcoming farming documentary, showcasing the unique practices and economic potential behind porcupine farming. A fiber-rich diet is crucial for hedgehogs on the farm, as it promotes healthy digestion and prevents gastrointestinal issues, which are common in these small mammals. Hedgehogs are primarily insectivores, but incorporating purely plant foods into their diet, such as fruits, vegetables, and specially formulated hedgehog pellets, provides essential nutrients and fiber necessary for their overall health. For instance, a diet high in fiber helps mimic their natural foraging behavior, encouraging them to explore and consume a variety of foods, which can lead to better physical and mental stimulation. However, it is important to note that while plant foods are beneficial, they should not exceed 30% of their overall diet, as excessive plant matter can lead to obesity and health problems. Additionally, farm owners should ensure that the plant foods provided are safe and non-toxic, avoiding items like onions and garlic, which can be harmful. By maintaining a balanced diet that emphasizes fiber and plant-based foods, hedgehogs can thrive, contributing to the farm's ecosystem and enhancing their well-being. The diet and habitat of hedgehogs are shown in farming documentaries to play a major role in their reproductive success. A nutritious diet rich in fiber and essential nutrients helps maintain the overall health and fertility of hedgehogs, which are important factors for successful breeding. Hedgehogs typically breed once a year, with mating occurring in late summer or early fall. Gestation lasts approximately 210 days, and females typically give birth to 1 or 2 young in the spring when resources are more abundant. However, mother hedgehogs face challenges in caring for their young. They are solitary animals, which sometimes results in limited interaction with their young after birth. Although newborn hedgehogs, known as pups, are born with soft quills that harden within a few days, maternal care is relatively minimal. Data shows that in the wild and on farms, mothers can only provide basic care and leave their young to fend for themselves after a few weeks. Providing an environment that mimics natural conditions can help reduce stress and improve reproductive outcomes, ensuring that young have a better chance of survival. We would like to remind you that in this farming documentary, the processing of porcupine meat in China is different from other animals due to the specific challenges posed by porcupine quills and the appropriate demand for the meat. Unlike common livestock such as cattle or chickens, porcupines have sharp, removable quills that must be carefully removed before processing, adding an additional step of safety and preparation. Once the quills are removed, the meat is processed similarly to other wild game meats, in an effort to retain the tender texture and mild flavor often compared to pork and rabbit. In some gourmet markets, especially those catering to exotic game enthusiasts, porcupine meat can fetch up to $40 per pound, much higher than conventional meats. A fully grown hedgehog can yield approximately 10 to 15 pounds of meat, making it a premium specialty product that stands apart from conventional meat processing.
The rise of porcupine meat consumption and pet ownership in China reflects two distinct markets. While porcupine meat is prized as a delicacy, urban youth in cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou increasingly keep porcupines as exotic pets, attracted by their unique appearance and status symbol appeal. Pet ownership has risen by 15% in these areas over the past 5 years. Popular pet breeds include the African pygmy and Indian crested porcupines, which are smaller than wild species. However, caring for them is challenging, requiring a high-fiber diet, spacious enclosures, and careful handling due to their sharp quills. Though some care methods resemble farm practices, pet porcupines need more personalized attention. Meanwhile, the demand for porcupine meat fuels a growing processing factory industry. Stay updated on the latest farming insights by subscribing to Trending Farm and turning on notifications.
Expansion of marine protected areas in Hawaii, tuna harvest rates dropped by 20% in key zones, leaving American vessels with smaller catches and higher fuel costs. Now, in 2025, those areas have raised harvest rates by 54% for yellowfin tuna near boundaries, pushing annual quotas up 80% to 1,285 metric tons for bluefin, but overfishing threats loom. To discover how this affects your canned tuna supply before supplies tighten, this film details the huge 2025 tuna harvest in Hawaii. The mix of hand jigging and longline methods, the economic impact on US markets, and steps for long-term sustainability. It tracks fisherman COA through real 2025 data on harvests, on board processing, and protections that secure future catches. COA, a Hawaii fisherman with 30 years on American vessels, tracks tuna harvest shifts. In 2025, Big Eye tuna harvest hit 2,529 metric tons in the first half, reaching 39% of the annual limit. This stems from longline vessels in the Pacific. COA starts with hand jigging to find schools, then directs larger ships for major harvests. Tuna, known as ahi, covers yellowfin, big eye, and bluefin. These fish hit speeds of 70 kilometers per hour. The aloha spirit demands respect for the ocean in every harvest. However, harvesting tuna deals with problems like climate change, which moves fish routes. Marine protected areas like Papahanaumokuakea counter this. They lift harvest rates by 54% for yellowfin near edges. In 2025, bluefin quotas climbed to 1,285 metric tonnes yearly. Up from prior limits. This backs stronger harvesting. COA points out that 87% of global tuna stocks stay sustainable based on ISSF reports. But the core issue persists. How do we harvest millions without harming the sea? Now Koa launches into hand jigging on the vessel. He lowers the jig, tugs the line steadily, and senses the hit when tuna strikes. This spots schools for the big harvest. Then the longline vessel activates sonar to pinpoint groups. Lines extend, hooks get baited, and the crew waits for action. In 2025, this yields harvests of thousands of big eye per trip. With one fish reaching 12 feet and $10,000 in value. The battle to harvest tuna demands full focus. Tuna fights back hard, yanking the line taut. Koa clamps down, reeling inch by inch. One mistake and the fish bolts free. Koa grins. This tuna's tougher than my old boots. Once on deck, harvest totals surge. Hawaii's vessels hit 99.6% compliance with sustainability rules from ISSF. After the harvest, processing kicks in right there. The crew scrubs the fish, flash freezes them at -40 degrees to hold freshness. Koa slices sashimi thin, mixes poke with onions and soy for the crew to eat fresh. This quick step explains why Hawaii tuna lands in US stores so crisp. 7. Economically, the harvest fuels billions in trade. US imports depend on Pacific tuna, with Hawaii at the front. Japan snaps up a big share, with markets expanding 3% each year. But hurdles remain. Climate alters tuna paths, blocking some management in the eastern Pacific. COA adapts with tracking tools. Harvesting needs to weigh output against safeguards. In rough seas, the pressure builds. Sustain the harvest or risk losing it all. "2025 successes signal real progress. Pacific bluefin stocks recover 10 years ahead due to quotas and protections. Marine areas raise overall harvest by 12 to 18% in adjacent waters. COA hands off skills to younger fishermen, merging hand jigging with new tech. This approach locks in solid harvests. Data shows the rise. Hawaii tuna harvests jumped from 1,500 metric tons in 2020 to 2,529 in 2025's first half. Aloha calls for responsible sharing of the harvest. COA nods to the sea after each run. COA says, "Harvest ahi, save the sea for tomorrow." Millions of tuna from American vessels highlight strength and responsibility. Back sustainable seafood, choose MSC labelled options at your local store to guard this shared ocean resource.
AI technologies are gradually developing and created by human hands. What if each processing factory gradually has fewer people working? Please share your thoughts below in the comments section of this video. And lastly, don't forget to recommend the channel to your friends so they can watch too. Thank you and goodbye. See you again in the next videos.